Hi, I'm Susie Miller, the Better Relationship Coach, and I'm committed to helping you create better relationships in just 30 days or less. And today's episode of Better Relationship TV is going to come straight out of my life. I woke up this morning with a splitting headache, that kind where you have that knife in your eye and that vice in the back of your neck and you are just cranky. I don't know if that ever happens to you. You might have other things that put you in a bad mood, but I was just not in a good mood this morning. I was tense and I wanted to get through what I had to get done in the morning and just kind of sit in a quiet and maybe even a dark room. And my husband came to talk to me about a couple of tech questions he had about this new podcast I have launched. And I looked at him with just this stern, why are you bothering me, look on my face and said, do I really need to know this? Now, let me back up a little bit. In our family, need to know is a huge concept. So we divide our labor pretty well. When our kids were little, he didn't need to know the kids' shoe size, and I didn't need to know the heating bill because I took the kids shopping and he paid the bills. So we had this kind of division of labor that worked really well. While he's coming to talk to me about technology things for my podcast, honestly, I don't care. I wanted to literally take the knife out of my eye and, stab him with it because he kept asking me technical things and I could barely think to write an article for my publicist, let alone answer hard questions about technology. That's the setting for my snapping at him, being cranky, and just, being my less than delightful self. So I just knew I wasn't going to have a good conversation with him. So I did, took my puppy, this is Bella, took her for a walk to try to get some perspective. It was a little bright out, so it wasn't a long walk, but it gave me a few minutes to just think about the fact that he didn't deserve to be snapped at because I was in a bad mood or because my head hurt or because any of the other reasons we have, hormones or frustration or stress at work or an argument with one of our kids. I mean, there's lots of reasons that we get cranky and stressed out. I went back and I said to him, look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I snapped at you. If you want to talk about this in a way where you need me to help you think it through, that's one thing. And then I can say to you, you know what, my head is exploding and I don't know that I can do that right now. But instead of asking that, I just snapped at you with that, why are you bothering me with this? So in that moment, I think he realized, I hadn't told him that I felt horrible or that I had a headache or that things were really, my brain was pounding like I had a knife in my eye. So he was acting just regular, like, let me tell you about this and I need your opinion about that. So a couple things to remember here. One is be honest about what's going on. If you're having a bad day, if you're stressed, name it. Tell your spouse, tell your kids. This is not the time that we should be talking about this. I had a friend once who used to say to her kids, you're working on my very last nerve. And that was kind of their clue to know this was not the time to ask mom anything. In fact, I said to one of my good friends, Jessica Rhodes, this morning, I'm so glad I don't have to be a mom today. And what I meant by that was that she's got a little toddler and is pregnant, and my kids are in their 20s. So there was nobody that I could snap at and be mean to and damage that was a kid of mine. And I assume my husband will handle it and get over it differently. So there was that kind of, dodged a bullet. After a few minutes, some ibuprofen, a walk, I was able to have a conversation that was much calmer. We made a decision that had to be made right away and put the rest off for later in the day. Sometimes conversations and good communication and improving your relationship has everything to do about timing, honesty about what's really going on, and timing as to when you really can have a good conversation. Those are just two simple ways to make tough conversations better. Sometimes we just try to barrel through because we're like, we're gonna make this happen, we're gonna talk about this. Put off the conversation till you have more energy, more focus, maybe when you don't have a migraine, and it'll be easier to have the conversation. Or say, this is what's going on for me and I'm not gonna listen to you well. I'm going to interrupt, I'm going to bite your head off or just be snippy. And so you probably don't wanna talk to me about that right now. I know that might sound silly to you, but really if we're honest with our spouses, if we're honest with the people in our life, our kids, our friends, and we say, this is just not a good time, it really could go well. It really could, they could go, oh, okay, I'm gonna back off now because I know better than to put my, hand in a fire. My tip for today on Better Relationship TV, if you have any great tips for how you handle bad moods and bad days, feel free to comment below. And until next time, this is Susie Miller. You can get more tips at susiemiller.com, and I'll see you next week.